Are you ready? So just a little bit of information. We are recording and live streaming to our CCCC Lifestyle website. So anything that you say is being recorded on all campuses. So please keep your voices down to a minimum. If you have questions, wait for Marcy or Neil to ask for them. Also, once the session is over, it will be uploaded to our Blackboard website, which is HR/professional development, and it's under the 2014 professional development training series. So if anybody that you know of wasn't able to come today or it's not on the Lifestyles website, it will be up probably the beginning of next week. So I'm going to hand it over to Neil and Marcy to learn how templates can make your lives easier. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for everyone coming out. I know we all have busy schedules, but really appreciate it. And hello to everyone on the other campuses and accessing this online. So what we want to talk about today is how to create your own flyer and poster templates. I know everyone loves contacting marketing for flyers and posters. And so we're hoping that a tool we've come up with will make this a little bit better, something that's better for you to use. So I just want to start by showing you our new marketing website that Morgan Steele has created. So on here, we have a list here of our responsibilities. So if you ever wonder, okay, what is marketing supposed to be doing? This is what we're supposed to be doing. As well as this picture of people requesting projects. I'll go back up. We won't say who that is with the megaphone. All right, so this is our project timeline. So these are the general estimated times for if you're wanting to request marketing assistance on a project. The lead time that we really would appreciate. We know that emergency things come up and we always try to work those into the schedule, but if at all possible, if you can try to give us this lead time, that would be great. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, this is cccc.edu/marketing. So if you want to access it, it's just /marketing. And then there's a request a project link, so you can just click right on there and you can put all your information in and it will send us an email about what you're requesting. And then we also have a resources tab, so you can access it as you scroll down or up at the top under resources. And so it has a college overview information document, all of the college logos that you can download, the branding guide for the college. I really encourage everyone to look at that if you haven't looked at it before. It has all of the uses for the logo, the letterhead, everything you would ever want to know about that. And if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can download the branding quick references there. The marketing plan, the release forms, that's important, especially if you're going to be photographing individuals that we get a media release, assigned media release. Then we have a social media policy, and then down to the templates that we're going to talk about, and then some tip sheets at the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over to Neil, but this is where you can access them. So it's going to be the flyers and then posters, which are 11 by 17, and the flyers are 8.5 by 11. So Neil's going to walk through, obviously you know where they're at now, so he's going to go through how to use them, and we'll go from there. And then if you have any questions, just let us know. Just raise your hand, and I'll try to look on the other screens to see if anyone has their hands raised, and we'll be glad to answer anything.
Okay, I am glad everybody made it here that came in Harnett, Chatham, and Lee here in the classroom. My name's Neil. I work in the marketing department, and I'm really, really excited about these flyers and posters because how many of you has ever, oh, last minute, I need a flyer, I need a poster, oh, but I'm afraid to contact marketing because it's last minute. So you, yeah, right, okay. So you spend, there's another one, okay. So you spend like 4 hours designing this thing and send it to the copy center, I need it right away. And copy center then forwards it on to marketing and it doesn't get approved. And marketing designs it anyway and you say, I spent all that time working on it. Oh. And you know, marketing has a soft heart. We said, oh, these poor people, they really needed this. They needed it so soon, and so we go ahead and we just drop everything we're doing and we get it to you because we know how important it is to you, right? Okay, so not anymore. You're going to be able to take care of yourself, and these things are pretty easy after you let me show you how to use them. I think you're going to be cruising along on them, okay? First thing I want to explain is there's 144 combined posters and flyers, okay? So that should give you a little bit of variety. Okay, second thing to know is that there's different layout styles. And there's 4 different layout styles for the flyers on top. Down here are, they're the same layouts from flyer to poster. This is the same basic layout from flyer to poster, same basic layout. You can kind of get that sense. Why isn't there one for this one? Well, flyer template layouts were designed to hold a certain amount of information. This holds a little information, this holds maybe a little bit more information, a little bit more information, a little bit more. Well, this one doesn't need to be a poster because it's already so big and you load it with tons of information. No one's going to read it. That's not the purpose of a poster. Okay, so that wasn't even included. Okay, now you can see that there is a blue and an orange poster there, visually. A blue-orange one there. Okay, within this flyer, there is 10 pictures of the blue and the same 10 pictures of the orange. Okay, not 144 pictures for the whole thing, but there are quite a variety, and there might be a different 10 pictures in this flyer. Maybe not all of them, maybe not most of them, but there may be a few varying posters, varying pictures within some of the different layouts. Okay, so
I think it'll let you touch on it. Do you
yes,
want to touch
yes,
on like that first one
yes.
on the left?
But before we do that, okay, no. If anybody has a laptop, don't know if anybody does out there, but if you wanted to, you could download this flyer and poster template instructions. These instructions should give you what you need after we're done here to follow up on your own project. And I'm going to be going through the flyer and poster instructions, okay? But before I do that, I just want to give you a sense of what some of these look like and how they work, a really brief sense. For instance, this flyer, there's certain elements on it you can't do anything with. It's part of the background. That's the photo, the large photo in this one, the logo, and the URL. Those won't change. But you can change the headings and the information. So it's the same with this. You can change the heading, the information here, and there's a little information here, but not the URL and the logo. Okay? So it's basically like those on all of them. So we're going to, we're going to go through 2 different projects today, and they're real projects, and we're just going to look at how a real project might be done from content that maybe some of you have given me. I'm going to design one. Okay? Let's see. All right. So one last piece of information. Let me just tack this on to talking about what you can type into and what is static. Is that there are 2 types of headlines. I just want to point this out ahead of time, so take a note. There are 2 types of headlines. One type of headline will not shrink down when you type more text in it, but it needs 2 lines of text. This type of headline will shrink down, but and you can add more text in it, but it will not go to a second line, okay? Those are the 2 separate kinds of headlines, okay? So let me go ahead and open up the first project. Okay, first one we're gonna do is a flyer. And I'm going to read from the nifty flyer poster template instructions. Step 1 is go to marketing. Go to cccc.edu/marketing. We've done that. That's where you are right there on that website. So then once you find, you download to your desktop the flyer or poster of your choice. So it's really, I'm going to put this back up for a second. It's really just as easy as clicking on the one you want. And you hadn't even seen that really, but that one flyer shows you all of the different flyers within that one flyer layout. Okay, and it does that for each one. Okay, I think Marcy pointed out. There's the posters. So you got all of them. You can see them all, and you can choose the different pictures and colors that you want. To download, simply click it. It asks to save the file, and you click OK. And you go to the desktop, and you say, OK. So there, now it's on the desktop. That's how that's done. And since I pulled that, let me use the, that's how you download them. Now I'm going to take the previously downloaded flyer poster that I've done and work on that. But it's the same flyer. It could be the same flyers I just downloaded. Okay. And that's not working. So. Apparently we have a problem, folks.
What program do you need?
Adobe Reader, maybe?
Reader's not on?
Reader?
It's not showing up. I think what Morgan's going to do is switch out computers.
Morgan, if we switch computers, we'll lose.
Yes, you will.
I don't want to lose them.
Can we download it?
They won't be able to see it. And then we've got people on the Life Size website.
My reader's not on it, it's based in the product, and it's like the leader.
Click on the start menu, you see click go to Adobe, and see if it's just not been, go to all programs.
Open Adobe Reader and then try to open it from.
Disassociated with PDF extension, so it doesn't sound like.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so we'll do it that way.
All right, good. Otherwise, it's going to be a short session.
Okay.
That was just a test, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yes, so it's
it's just
just
to make sure everything works. Good thing IT was in there.
Well, here you go.
Trying to put out you on the spot.
It wasn't the test for him, it was for y'all.
Okay, I'm gonna download another one now. Going out. One. And save file. And. Okay, so I'm gonna work out of this file.
That way I'm not sitting all day. Because, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Now we know how to get there. It's gotta be the right one. All right, guys. So first thing, we're looking at the template. I also am going to open up something else, which is when you're choosing a flyer, you have to think about how much information you want to put in it, or how much information you have and how much information that flyer will hold. So obviously I've already thought this out, and I want to show you the flyer that, okay, I can't just open it, I gotta open it. Okay, so it opens it. Okay, so you can see this one. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so here's a real simple flyer, and I'd like to set that aside so you can see that while I work on the template. Also want you to notice that I've pulled all the original text out of that. We're going to put this in the template, and according to the instructions. So the instructions, it says type, do not copy and paste your primary title into the big headline section. The big headline section is the one at the very top. This is please use text. So we're not going to copy and paste, but I'm going to look at my title. Okay, I'm going to type in HRD at Belflex. Okay, but I've only got one line. It's nice that it centers it, but we don't want you to use one line because it said please use 2 lines. If someone ever does just use one line, at the very least it's centered, but please don't use one line when it says 2 lines. So for this, I had to improvise a little bit, because you know what? These flyers, they're not perfect. They're for last minute, so you are going to have to improvise a little bit. So I'm going to add that this is Lee County. And then if you look at the original text here, you got this phrase, learn how to meet your company criteria, and we will help you successfully attain a job. Okay, I'm going to add that in. I had to find a place to put it, because that's the way, the nature of the template flyers. You have to find a place to put everything that fits the right amount of space. So I combine those 2 phrases to learn to meet company criteria to successfully attain a job. And maybe I'll turn the caps lock on. That way it will really stand out.
Is there a particular reason why you can't cut and paste and why you must type?
Yes. In this particular headline, you will lose formatting.
Okay.
Yes, and then you won't be able to get it back until you close it out without saving and reopening.
So no undo.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So now we've got number 4 completed it, because number 4 says type, do not copy and paste your secondary title into the small headline section. So we've done that. Number 5 is type important text into all other sections. Nice thing is, the headlines are short. You can easily type those in again, but it's the chunk of the information no one wants to retype all the time, right? So that you actually are able to copy into the text area. And let me explain. that this is always the headline section, whether it's big headline or small headline. This is always the text area here. Sometimes it's here where there's no picture, but down here is always the text area. And I'll be referring to the text area as the place where you can copy and paste from an outside source. So I'm going to type in, I'm going to copy in the rest of the information. But before I do that, before I simply copy and paste the information in, I want you to notice the information that is in this text area. It says, if you have more text than will fit into this space, don't worry. The font size will shrink to allow space for more text. Oh, good. That means if you've got an extra line and you really need it to be in there, you can. But this isn't to just add so much information that the text becomes so small no one can read it anyway. It's just to add a little bit of buffer in case you have a little bit too much, maybe need two or three more lines or something for information. Okay, and also there are some design elements that you can utilize that may not be as easily found in Word or some other program. But you don't want to copy and paste over them or you lose them. So at this point, I've got a space separator here and a bullet point, and I'm just going to delete the text before that and leave that at the top so I can see. And I'm going to paste in the other information. Build your skills in reading, comprehension, problem solving, team building, computer skills, interviewing skills, test preparation. You know, that sounds like a pretty good list for bullets. This sheet here also has some tips on it. And the first tip is that you want to try to fill up all the space. There's different ways to do that. You can add extra spaces between paragraphs. You can add extra text. I've already done that on the title, just to fill the space. Now, how about how to separate the information? Because you can't bold, you can't italicize, you can't underline. So what do? Well, I'm just going to give you a few simple tips on how to kind of separate out the information. First of all, you've got a bullet. You've also got all caps. Please don't do the flyers in all caps because it loses its effectiveness. And all caps is hard to read. So you just really want to use it in small amounts of text, but I'm going to use it here. Build your skills in I'm going to add a space. Now, it's already looking a little better. I'm also going to copy this bullet point. You all know how to copy? It's holding down the Control key and pressing C, or you can highlight the object. Always highlight the object first, then Control C. Or you can highlight it and go to File, Edit, Copy here. And you can either press Control V, which will paste it, or you can go Edit, Paste, and there's my bullet. I'm going to add another bullet. Control V, okay, and add a space between those. Right. So again, fill the information. I'd like to add extra space between the bullet points, so as not to leave a big space at the bottom. Now what happens if your text won't go down any further, or it's getting small and you can't get any text down at the bottom. Well, you gotta look for these invisible spaces where it's putting a placeholder for information. So if this ever happens, click down below with your cursor, and if it's blinking down there, there is an invisible space holder. Delete those. There. Another separating element that we're going to utilize in this is a line. And we're going to use an underscore line, and if you don't know what that is, it's the dash line, but you hold the shift key down, and there's the line. You see that? And I'll do it again. Holding the shift key down, I'm pressing the dash button. I'm making a line, and you can hold it down and it'll go all the way across. Okay, add another space here. Boom. Instant separation. So now you pretty much have, let me add a little bit more space here, and you can tweak it some more, but you pretty much have here a large headline that draws the audience in, and let's put an exclamation point. Yes, this is awesome. Please don't do that. Let's just use one. But basically that's the flyer. So the last step, there's another thing. We proofread before printing. Do a spell check. It's already got a built-in spell check. Look for extra spaces between words. Look for any consistency issues. And there's a few more as well. You can look that up on the instructions when you do this. Okay. So at that point, you would just click File, Save it, and you can save it back to wherever you want to save it. So that would be how that is done. Okay? Any questions up to this point?
So on
Yes.
each one of the,
Yes, no, you're fine. Yes.
so on each one of the flyers, the content is set, staged, and format going to work in. That's not, so each different poster, that format looks different where the content is going to go, right? So if we're using one of your quick flyers and it has on the bottom, as it does on the top, has the logo on the top, it has the website on the bottom, what if we wanted the website to be ccc.edu SOAR?
Right,
Versus,
that's a,
versus me personally. What if we want to be the department? Will the templates allow us to make those changes, or is that something that we're going to have to request differently?
yeah, you'll have to request a different flyer to put that in that format. However, if you do need this fast and you do need your own URL on it, you can just type it into the information at the, toward the bottom of your text area.
Yeah.
And add a line maybe under it or over top of it and kind of separate it out. But it'll always have the college URL on there. Yeah. Okay, yes. This is good. Okay.
So the pictures that are there, those are the pictures that you have to work with, so we have to
Yes.
select from those pictures.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So-
there's some kind of general pictures. I mean, we realize that we're not, if you're doing a specific class, they may not, be a cake, someone frosting a cake or something, but they're set up to be pretty general so that people should be able to use them for a variety of things. Now, if there's something specific beyond that you're gonna need, say like on an ongoing basis, you need a certain picture, just contact us and we can maybe send you an additional one with that type of picture.
So should I be providing you with, every time that we do an event, we being SOAR,
Yeah.
I take a lot of pictures. I just take a lot of pictures. A, for the people that are participating in there, and then B, just as a show of what we actually done. Should we be supplying you with those photographs? So in the future, if we do need something that is a lot more specific, in case in point which we just ran across, then we have a pool of resources to pull from that we don't have to go to stock?
Sure, yeah, I mean, if you're taking pictures, definitely just connect with us or stop by and we'll put them on the file server and keep them if a need arises.
Okay, so now that leads me back to a question that I might have missed. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the point of me coming to this class. So, as far as the media, I think I walked in when you were talking about media release and those different things like that. So if we're doing an activity that's on this campus or any of the campuses that belong to Central Carolina Community College, do we need a media release from those individuals that are participating?
You should be okay with it because my understanding is that anyone that is enrolled here at the college, now this is not Lee Early College, is going to be covered with paperwork that they're filling out. Now there are some people that request not to be photographed, so certainly if someone doesn't want to be a part of that, don't put them in that. But it's always good practice just to tell people what you're doing, what it could be used for. Now, if there's ever a case where it's a minor, definitely we have to have a media release form for them with a parent or guardian signature before we can ever use that in anything. Sending out to the media, using it on a flyer, we definitely have to have permission for that.
Okay.
But if you're just, if it's walking across campus, take a couple students, as long as they were willing to be a part of it and they know that it could be used on something, that should be fine.
So do we still need those media releases if our events are in collaboration and conjunctions with other sources that they've given their permission for media release? Do we still need that backup? Case in point, communities and schools, Lee County schools, where the children, we're dealing with high school, middle school children or students who have given that release for them for that activity, and if we're collaborating with them, do we then again yet to get another media release?
No, it should be fine. I mean, if they have that on file and you've asked that directly, do you have for this particular student something on file, then it should be fine at that point. Just make sure you've definitely gotten that okay from them.
Okay. And that's the form that's on the website that we were.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And one thing I'll add is with like this classroom, anytime we've done recording or video conferencing, it's the same form. And whenever we sent it through to the attorney, he just said that someone who originally had said yes can come back and say no. They can request in writing to the college, and within a reasonable means, we will do it. So, for example, if something's already up, it's difficult sometimes to bring everything down, but you would just never use that picture again, or we would never use that recording again. We would find an alternative if they were to request it in writing.
And it's more of a concern for me because we're going to be doing a lot more flyers, a lot more posters for the different things that we have moving forward, and we don't have the budget to pay for stock photos. So the best resource and pool that we can pull from are those participants in anything that we do. And I just want to make sure that we're covering ourselves totally and completely. Now, never mind. Right now.
All right, good questions. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the other poster.
Another question.
Yeah,
Sure.
So we're just talking about flyers and posters. Does that include the trifolds that we've done in the past too? The handouts?
Like the brochure.
Like the little brochures? No?
We don't really have templates for that. It's probably getting a little bit more complicated to start. We thought about postcards and other things beyond this, but we want to just try it out with this first and see how this is going before we expand it. Most of you have probably at some point created a brochure and publisher that came over to marketing, and then we tried to jazz it up. So at this point, we'll probably just still rely on that process for people to supply us with information, and then we'll design it.
So I could create one and publisher and send it to you, and you try to jazz it up, or you recommend that we don't do that?
We prefer if you just go ahead and send us the information. If you send something over, we'll work with that too. But it's yeah. You may save some time if you just send over the information.
So, can I do it from here?
But this is really, with the flyers and posters, a big point about this is just getting more consistency because, whether it's something internal at the college or external at the college, we really need to make sure we're consistently using the logo, that we're not stretching it, that the URL is on there, that things have a certain look to it. So this is really what it's about, is just trying to give people some tools that you can use on your own that still kind of fit within that overall brand.
So when I utilize one of these, do I still need to send it to you guys for approval, or?
No, you should be, yeah, you should be good to go. You can just print it off on your computer or send it over to business services, and then they would print it.
Okay.
Neil, I have a question about pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
So are there, I understood you said there's 140 formats. Is there an opportunity for us to put our program-specific pictures in if we request that? So of course, I'm thinking of like a picture of a student installing a PV array or building the Chatham Cottage to insert in one of our.
If this is something that, really the template flyers are only supposed to be used in an emergency. Generally, we will design a custom flyer just for you, but it is conceivable that if there's something that you need that we design are they gone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that we do a custom template for you to use.
Okay, I mean, I could see using this, would it be helpful if there was something, coming up for me to, create the template with all of the pertinent text information and then send it to you and say, Neil, can you please drop in a picture of the cottage? Does that make sense? Is that helpful, or is that still not achieving your goal here?
Well, I think, Laura, we probably would, and this is Marcy, I recognize your voice, Laura.
Yeah.
We probably would, if you want to just reach out to us and say there were 2 or 3 that we could just put the cottage on someone doing the solar panel installation, and then we could send those back to you, and then you could use those, in an emergency type situation. Now, if there's if it's going to be more involved than that, then just, reach out to us, a couple weeks ahead of time, and we can do a regular flyer or poster that involves the design, so.
Right, yeah.
Does that
Well,
answer
you
your-
guys are always great for us, but I'd love to cut down on our requests. And if I have a template with our pictures, I can just run with it. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna do another flyer. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put that right there. Save it. Okay. We're gonna do another poster. The posters are a little bit different than the flyers. So let me show you one of these two. The main thing to know about the poster is that the text area is not going to shrink for you because it's already such a big surface area, I guess you could say, that adding a bunch of tiny text is never going to get read. So in this case, for the posters, the text will not shrink down for you. But here's the flyer on the left here with the blue and green and the nice girl, the Brooks. And so I'm going to leave that up, but I've also copied the text. And I'm going to put it into this template. First thing I notice is it says, please use 3 lines of text. And it said that over the course of 3 lines to help you read it. So again, don't copy and paste into that. It will change the formatting. You'll have to open it up again, close it, open it again. So we're just going to type it in. I think you can use caps or no caps. I'm going to use caps. Returning student registration. And it's only 2 lines. So I need to add another line. Note down here that within the information, again, I'm, what do you say? Improvising, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, there's summer tuition and there is fall tuition, okay? So I'm gonna add that into the information up here, even though that wasn't in the original that I did, and it may not be in what you thought about your title. It needs to be something, there needs to be another line there. So returning student registration, maybe I'll do a colon. And I'll say, fall, okay? Or you could say summer and fall, returning student registration, however you want to word it. Okay, so I'm looking at the space separator in the bullet point within the text area. And I don't want to delete that. I need to copy over this text, but I don't want to delete those yet. So do what you want. You can copy and paste them back into your Word template and delete them from your text area. Or you can save them in your text area and just don't delete them from there and delete them later after you've copied and pasted them where you want them to go. But I'm just now going to copy and paste the information. Poster text area. Control C. Highlight that, delete that, and I'm going to either Control V for paste or I'm going to edit. Right. Seems that it didn't copy over all the information. The text doesn't shrink down for me, so watch for that. You're going to have to proof these and make sure all your information is actually in them. In this case, I don't think it made it all in there.
The last paragraph is not.
Yeah, that's right, Ren. Ren is exactly right. The last paragraph is missing. So I think I got to get rid of this space separator bullet point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that. Control X is cut. And I'm going to paste that, Control V, over into my Word document that I'm working out of. That'll free me up some space. I'm still not sure that's going to be enough room. Well, in this particular poster, at the bottom next to the URL, I do have this, there's a nifty section down here that does shrink your text. Now you could just, it's set up to just put a phone number in there, but you can change it to whatever you want. So I think a good place, a good thing to put there in that place would be this sort of this headline that's supposed to pop out. Pre-registration for returning students begins April 7th. See how I have that highlighted there? I'm going to cut that, Control X. And I'm going to paste it. I'm going to highlight all the text, Control V, paste. Wow, that's already better. I've freed up a lot of room. Now I'm going to go back and put this paragraph in. Okay, good. Now the paragraph's at least in there at this point. Wonder if there's another line. Okay. So at this point, we pretty much got about all we can do. I'm trying to think if there was something else. You could either shorten it. I'm not seeing a really good way to shorten it. But at least down here at the bottom, that's awfully small. Pre-registration for returning students begins April 7th. So if we shorten that, it's going to get bigger, and I think we're going to call it good at that point. So how can we shorten it?
Take out returning students because you're repeating what you said on the top. We can give you more space and have a bigger.
Yeah, or you could put a contact number or phone number there. Yeah, you could do that. Now, there wasn't a contact number in the last one. So I think just in this case, I might just say returning student pre-registration. Maybe April 7th? That's already bigger. You could probably use that like that. All right, so that's basically the concept behind the posters and flyers. Are there any other? Yes. Yes.
So if you didn't have that much text to work with in the body, is there a way to enlarge the font size?
No, there's not. And you'll probably find that in even the flyers where there is an allowance of text space that it makes, if you don't have enough text, it won't get bigger and bigger and bigger. The text will only probably stay around, I'd say, 12-point font text. And then after that, that's it. You can get smaller, but you can't get bigger. Just like the poster, no, it won't get bigger to fill up that space. So that would be where you use, to make it full, improvise. Yeah, with spaces, extra spaces, not too much extra space, like 3 and 4 spaces between paragraphs, but maybe an extra space between paragraphs, maybe 2. Use the line, add extra information, something that might be useful to the audience. Things like that.
Yeah.
Or find a different template. One that isn't made to fit so much. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and yeah, we'll just.
So a question came in from someone at their desk.
Oh,
They're
okay.
watching the presentation. And their question is, can there be a private subfolder for a department-specific photos, much like what she was asking? She's saying that they have photos that they would like to use in their templates. They're not applicable to other programs. Is there a way that they can incorporate these new photos just for their area into the template? And if so, is there a way to have a folder created just for their area?
Well, like other program areas, we have folders on the server for medical or for ESTC. And it's only got pictures for that program in there that we may use. So yes, it's possible to keep their pictures in a folder on our server and label it the name of their program or what they're doing, and to use those for their flyers.
So is that something that they need to send to you? They need to send you those photos in order to create the folders?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're hoping that, you know, and a lot of this is just gonna be for last minute. If you need something with that day or the day before, you can go on and do something. It may not be the exact photo you're looking for, but, you know, it should be good enough for an emergency situation. Now, if there's someone that's needing something where they're gonna customize their own templates and use them on an ongoing basis, yes, and they probably need to reach out to us. We need to probably create a couple additional templates, or they can always just, you know, a couple weeks before they need something, contact us and we'll be glad to create something. But yeah, if we do create an additional template and you send a picture, At this point, because we already have so many, like 144, we're pretty much going to stick to the template designs that have been created. So if you're wanting something, hey, I want 3 pictures on there and I want them to run down the side, okay, that's going to be a little bit beyond the capabilities here. So we're going to need to still work a couple weeks out on getting that designed.
So you're talking about if it's quick, I like that template, just substitute this picture for that picture, that's a
Right.
whole different.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, if Marcy doesn't have anything
Yeah.
else, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate everyone's time. If you have any questions, you can run the session.